So much of the world is asleep and doesn't understand what is about to come. Because I can tell you right now, what is happening right now is worse than what was previously expected. Now, I want to bring you this warning because just last night, I was watching the news and I heard people talking about how once the Federal Reserve raises rates just a little bit more, this is going to really improve our country and our economy. They were saying that once inflation comes down, the American people would have a much better quality of life. And that is true. However, they're only telling you half of the story, and they're only telling you their half. However, this is not really the case. Are we going to be in a better spot in 6 months? The answer is no, probably not. Are we going to be in a better spot in a year? The answer again is no, probably not. And this is why I want to give you this warning. So first, if you can do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. It's just going to help the YouTube algorithm, help push it out there to more people. But also share this video with your friends and family because they need to know what is actually going to happen. Now, and I've talked about this in the past, and I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's that important. But here's what's going to happen. As interest rates increase here in the United States, which they must increase, okay? We have to increase interest rates because we have to bring down inflation and keep it under control. Well, once we do that, countries and businesses are going to be heavily impacted. The individual American is going to be heavily impacted as well. For example, countries. Any country that has US dollar denominated debt, they're going to struggle. Companies holding variable rate loans, they're going to be heavily impacted. And let me just give you a couple examples really quick. Over the past few days, countries like Japan, who hold about 17% of their debt in US currency, this is why they had to intervene just a few days ago. They had to spend about $20 billion in their foreign exchange markets just to stabilize them. This is for Japan. I talked about this just yesterday. The Bank of England had to step in just a couple of days ago. They had to do this as well because the British pound began to sink. This could happen to other countries as well. Again, if you have US dollar denominated debt and we are raising rates, guess what? It is now more expensive for you to hold on to that debt. Let's talk about businesses and how this is going to impact employees. So if you are an employee of some company, it doesn't matter which company, or maybe you're self-employed and you rely on certain companies in order to pay your bills, you will be impacted. For example, if the company you work for or with or alongside of has a lot of variable rate debt, then as we raise rates, okay, interest rates, guess what? Your debt now becomes more expensive. And these companies have to make changes. Now, these changes can come in multiple different ways. They could pay off the debt, which is going to be very difficult for a company that doesn't have a lot of cash. Or, here's the next two options. First, the main option is you make more money where the debt does not really matter. It's okay. Right? Even if the rate increases, it's still fine. You make so much money, it's no big deal. The second option, which is going to be the easier option, but it's much harder on the economy, is that company lays off its employees. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see layoffs. And by laying off employees, it cuts the biggest expense that a company has, that a business has. As a result, they are normally more profitable in the short term. That's what they're looking for. They're more profitable, so now they can pay off their debts. Keep this in mind. This is my warning to you. We are going to see this. Now, companies are about to do these things. We are already seeing it in some instances. We are seeing companies laying off employees. We are seeing some companies threaten if an employee doesn't come back into the office, they will be let go. We've also seen a lot of companies move away from things like hiring and wage increases at this time. And it's because they have to make more money. They cannot borrow like they used to. We cannot borrow at 2-3% and make the difference. It doesn't work like that. It's getting more expensive. Now, what does this mean for you and I? Well, here's what I can tell you. We are here, and this is why I bring this up, is because when I'm watching the news and I see, and it just baffles me, that these media outlets, and I was talking to a friend just the other day as well, where media outlets like CNBC, CNN, Fox News, Bloomberg, doesn't matter, right? You can list them all. Every single one provides you with certain information. However, once you read into that information, once you look at what they're saying, a lot of it is classified as misinformation. However, these big media outlets can post it. It can be rebroadcast on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, everywhere throughout the internet. And nobody is saying it's misinformation. So here's what's very troubling about this, is when I was watching the news last night and these people were talking about how once the Federal Reserve raises rates just a little bit more, it's going to drastically improve our country and our economy. I was shocked, because that's not necessarily what's going to happen. Are we going to improve in 2 years and 3 years and 4 years and 5 years and be better off down the road? Yes, possibly. But at the same time, countries are greedy, businesses are greedy, people are greedy. And what's going to happen is we are going to be impacted. You know who's going to be impacted the most? Lower income households and middle income households. Those are the two groups. Now, if you are part of the top 1%, okay, if you're part of that 1%, you will probably be just fine. But here's what I want, okay? The world doesn't know how hard things are going to be. The majority of the world doesn't know. This is going to be, in my opinion, we could get out of this and we could have just a great year in 2023. That's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting 2023 to be worse than 2022, to be worse than 2021, and to be worse than 2020. If you remember, those 2-3 years have not been great. Now, one thing I can tell you, I will be here every step of the way. I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates, but what I need you to do is just two things. First, go ahead, hit that like button to just get this video out there to as many people, because a lot of people do not understand what is about to happen. Now, the second thing I want you to do, hit that subscribe button. I will try to keep you up to date on everything that is going on with our economy, with other economies, how you can make money, how you can save money, and how you can just be prepared for what is coming. Because again, I don't think the world knows. When mainstream media is sharing this information that, well, yeah, once the Federal Reserve raises rates, everything's going to be just fine. The answer is no, it will not be just fine. It will take us a little bit to get back to normal. And once we are back to normal, the people that were struggling the most will never be back to normal. They're going to have the toughest time. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise, I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.